So I now take this opportunity to introduce our speaker for today, Ms. Daniela Lacrameora. So Ms. Danielle Lacrameora is an educator and strategist from the University of Luxembourg, where she is a PhD candidate. She holds an MBA from Jack Welch College of Business, Sacred Heart University, with a double concentration in international business and marketing, and a master in management from the Faculty of Engineering, University Lucien Blaga of Sibiu. Ms. Moraru has been teaching at University of Cooperative Education in Germany and is regularly giving lectures in Luxembourg and abroad on education, entrepreneurship, and marketing. She is currently CEO of languages.lu in Luxembourg, which she founded in 2004. Ms. Moraru is also an international independent director certified by INSEAD France, where she obtained a certificate in corporate governance in 2015, a certificate in global management 2017, a certificate in advanced industrial marketing 2016, and a certificate in competitive strategy in 2015. For her exceptional contribution, Ms. Moraru has been elected in 2013 as Women Inspiring Europe by the European Commission's European Institute for Gender Equality. We are extremely privileged to have you, ma'am, as our today's speaker for our webinar series, Language and Communication. I now request you to take over the webinar, ma'am. It's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. Indeed, I have a great interest in different fields, especially in education, entrepreneurship. And since a few years, I started to work more on soft skills, which is the topic of today. I was requested by Dr. Regin to talk about this topic, and he gave actually a very specific title, soft skills and personality development. And I would argue that actually, maybe next time we could change a little bit the topic, the title into career development rather than personality development, because indeed soft skills are supposed to be learned at a young age when indeed the personality is forming. But as I heard, the public today is more, graduates and teachers. So probably, at another age, the capacity, the way we're learning is more through experiences, life experiences. So it's a very interesting topic, obviously, very complex. Yes?
Yeah, sure. Yes. A very interesting and complex topic. Yes, sure.
For sure, you have time to prepare everything just before participants arrive, and then everybody can join. So today's topic, as I mentioned, is soft skills and personality development. Which in my presentation would actually have an focus on career development, because we are all adults. We all have had several professional experiences, so we're not talking about juniors. Therefore, the way that we need to approach this topic is completely different than if we would talk about undergraduate students. So as you can see here, I just have three different points. The context first, what is happening, then a little bit about the skills forecast, what would mean to be a worker in 2030, and then what should you do, knowing that actually in the public we have different a mix of participants. Some of them are graduate students or university students, and some of you are already teachers. As I didn't mention before, but just in the introduction it was mentioned that I created a language school, languages.lu. So this is something that is very similar to what you are doing in your university. So teaching languages, teaching English and learning English and using English in our professional experiences. Of course, it is extremely important. However, this has to be linked to different projects, and we've been teaching actually English, French, and German to children by using different projects. Sometimes we used projects related to cooking together certain recipes, sometimes going to the forest and doing something specific with the children. But as I said, this is really a different approach when we talk about adults. And in our specific context, why is it important to look at soft skills? Because everything is about to change. As you know, the pandemic has accelerated the changes and the digital transformation that we have seen already happening in the labor place in the last decades. But now with the pandemic, everything has been, the digitalization of our marketplace has been so much more accelerated. You have seen it. That's why you have started also all these webinars, many more than you were doing before. And it has, of course, advantages and disadvantages. But the biggest advantage is that we could be in touch from different parts of the world. Here I am in Luxembourg. It's in middle of the afternoon, and you are in India. It's in the evening. So digitalization is allowing us to do fantastic things, but the disadvantage is that a lot of people will lose their jobs in the near future. So we have different possibilities. We either, as employers, for example, we could say, okay, what if we don't change anything at all, and then just something magical happens? And you could say that as well also as a graduate, as a new employee. Should I invest in my skills in the future, or is it enough the diploma that I've just obtained, and then okay, I do nothing, and then I will continue to be happy in the working place despite all the changes, the drastic changes that are taking place. And of course, the answer, you know it because you are here in this uh, webinars, so we cannot just let something technologies. Yeah, so one is soft skill, but we can also talk about essential skills. We can also talk about employability skills, transversal skills, transferable skills. Really, there's a very long list of terminology that we could use. How the automation and artificial intelligence will accelerate the shift in skills that the workforce needs. And you can see this in comparison between United States and Western Europe. Of course, I don't have anything related to your part of the world. But I guess some of these are similar. So there is a decrease in the use of physical and manual skills. In the US is -11. An estimation, of course, in Western Europe, -16. The very basic cognitive skills that are being used less and less, because we can have that into the automation systems, and artificial intelligence can do that very well. If it's a very basic command, do that, follow that, push on that button, on the blue, on the red, on the green button. So that's something that we will no longer need people in the future. More and more used and yeah, about 25% if we could have the 26 and 22, so on average like almost for a 25% increase. And of course the technological skills, because we are talking here about all the digitalization, so you cannot you can no longer do anything without using technology. You need to use only if we talk about marketing, for example. In the past, marketing was about brochures, was flyers, was about a lot of publications, magazines, and so on. Everything has switched to online, and not just social network or on radio, but it's also about scale. No longer really. So I hope this gives you a vision of what we are to expect. I mean, but this only shows you another reason why your students or yourself, if you're still a graduate student, you should continue to invest in your skills. So here we have hard skills versus soft skills, just a short comparison. As you know, hard skills, I mean, that's the big difference. Hard skills any potential employer. But if you have different, the same hard skills, what will make the difference really will be the soft skills, the way that you communicate, the way that you interact with people, the way that your reaction and attitude towards what's happening around you, or the different situations in which your potential employer might ask you what you do in what you would do in that specific situation. And soft skills will also determine how well you will perform your job and how long you will do it. You can, of course, still be very good in your job now, but if you don't adapt yourself to the changes that are taking place in the world, in our society, in our economy, then you might have it a little bit more difficult in the future. Of people looking for employment, actually employers complain that they cannot find on the local market the labor force that they are looking for. And so you can see here that in the last research that a colleague of mine has done in the United States. And this is actually something very similar to what she found in the United States, but this is from the literature review. So you can see that there are always some differences between the perceptions of employers compared to the perceptions of students in terms of what kind of soft skills are important for work, for the job market. And so if you look at the rating, so we took a rating between 1 and 10, 1 being the most important and actually 10 being the less important. And you could see that there is the same in terms of number 1. So the highest rating has been given to communication. And this is true. There is so also the perception of the employer that you need someone who's good to communicate in order to be effective in his job. And this was also the perception of students. We're talking here about graduates who just finished their their studies and they're just getting into the job market. But then, for instance, in terms of the other, only number 3 is again the same, problem solving. So this of course requires a more in-depth analysis, but this is not the point necessarily of our presentation, but it's just for you to see that there is this gap, and you could also reflect on your own rating to soft skills. You could take the list of soft skills, you just put them in alphabetical order, and then you try yourself to rate them, to use this scale of 1 to 10, and to see what would be your most important soft skills in your perception. And then you could ask your boss, if you're already working, what they think that the soft skills needed in the job, in your job, would be the most important. And probably you'll see that there are some differences, but it's a very good exercise that I highly recommend. So as a result of all these researchers, as I mentioned to you, a colleague of mine from the United States, she looked into that. And because there was this enormous gap between skills, we thought, okay, how could we actually help graduates to develop these soft skills? And she has developed a course which is called Job Readiness. It's a 3-day professional development that you can also use. So I will show you after that the content of this course, and the entire content can be used free of charge by you or your colleagues, your teams. And so it was really looking at this 10 main soft skills. We could say relevant soft skills for the job market. You could say key soft skills, essential soft skills. And as a result of this training, you would have an increase of students' awareness of the relevant soft skills for entry-level employment, as I mentioned. And then you would develop or improve written and oral communication skills of students, especially in the preparation of the resume, the CV, application letter, articulate professional and personal attributes on job interviews, interactions with coworkers, and it also equip students with the skills needed to develop because of the lack of professional experience. There is some business etiquette that is quite basic and quite important in any formally company setting. And then develop the art of appropriate business and professional attire. So I want to next, because we don't have the interaction that I would really love to have, to actually have your feedback and to go into the different and the second is also a document which is entitled Measuring and Assessing Soft Skills. It was a result of a 6 we have also like a course. So it's documentation that could be used in a training, but you could also. So I will go now to look for these 2 documents and share them with you. Okay. No, just okay. So So the first one. Okay. Okay. Don't know if so how can I see what you see? Okay, I think you see, but I don't hear anything from you, so I'm just wondering if you hear me well. Can you
Yes,
just
ma'am. We are able to
yeah?
hear you well. We are able to hear
Okay,
you. No
okay,
issues.
okay,
Yeah. It's pretty clear. And
okay,
your screen is also clear to us. No issues.
okay, wonderful. These two documents because they're really a few hundred pages and they are very, very useful. You could use them if you're a teacher or you could use them yourself personally. So this is the Job Readiness Workshop. It's a 3-day workshop. And you could see, these are the slides that could be used by the different trainers or whomever is using them. And it starts with the job seeking skills. Yeah, so this is so it's always explained how to use the different activities. So you can have the objectives, for example, for this, and then you have okay, this is the introduction, but always, as you know, we need to use different techniques, not just theory, but also, for example, an icebreaker. Who am I? You need to ask your students who they are based on things they like, to express to others who they are and work as a team. And then, as you can see, so we go into the definitions and to some examples, but then we advance into the development. So we take then the communication as the most relevant soft skill. This is an activity that can be used during 1 hour and 30 minutes. So it's always quite well explained because you need to understand what you're doing and what the outcome should be. So first of all, when you talk about communication, of course, people understand different things. That's why you need to take, to have a common base. Um, and you really have a lot of here. This workshop could be done either 3 consecutive days, or you could just have like 1 day each week during 3 weeks. I think this would be much more effective because people would have in the meantime time to actually reflect on what has been done and to do a follow-up activity. Here, for example, talking about listening skills with some icebreakers again, listening skills. Then you have some techniques how to work on being a good listener. And actually, before that, you have an explanation really about. It's just page 190. Let me go there. For example, here you can see, for example, day one, how it would be organized. Yeah, you start, for example, here. Yeah, so it's job seeking skills, the morning session, soft skills awareness and communication skills, or a nonverbal. Then you start, you start with an icebreaker, then the goals, importance, communication as the most relevant soft skill, building a professional portfolio. But you need, for some of these activities, you need a facilitator or a moderator. But most of this should be done afterwards by the students themselves. Or if you do it, individually, you just assume that you are also the moderator and the participants. For example, here, because this is the first thing that business card, you just send that CV and application form, and this is how you introduce yourself to a potential employer. And it's so very important to do it properly. So you have some activities, usually it's about 30 minutes. Then you have mentorship and networking. So ideally with some industry professionals. Then you continue the second. You can see that this is based on the list. So it's work ethics. This was the number two soft skill that was listed by students. So it was their perception that work ethic is the second most important after communication, the second most important soft skill. So always a combination of different type of activities. It's a lot of content. That's why I don't want to give you like just one. But I will send you the entire package, and you can really take the time to look at it. For example, here, who am I? Yeah, you have to think. You can, you have really explanations about how to use this activity, to write different things about what they like. Terms of sports, hobby, in terms of food. And then it continues with some theory. Regine has done with me. So you build the connection, and then you try to get the most out of it. Of course, this is for for the social good, so it's not really with the financial objective in mind. But it's a setting where you actually, for your job, you need to connect with people. You need to I'll share again.
Yeah, ma'am, we can hear you, and we were able to see all the slides which you were sharing with us. Yeah.
So I didn't understand.
Yeah, we can see your slides.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, as I mentioned, this is a very big project which has been conducted during so it's and you have of uh, um, so very to somebody else. It could be somebody from your family, it could be your teacher. If it's you can really look at the different soft skills that you are working on, and then you can write down, it could be done on a weekly basis or it could be done on a monthly basis. You can choose. It's your progress. It's your rhythm. Everybody's different. Some people are quicker, some people are slower. You know, we just need to adapt to our own personality, our own person. So here you can see, for example, you go ahead and you look at manners, and then you evaluate yourself. You're always aware of others' feelings, considering of their needs, regardless of your own current mood. And then you see what your level is. And of course, very good is always the best option, is always the goal that we all are trying to achieve. And then if you're actually here and you see that your mood is having a huge influence on the way you react, on the way you behave towards other people, sometimes you're moody, sometimes you're kind, then you have to work a little bit on the way that you react. And then you can see it's a very detailed on to week 3. And then you could also have some comments. So it's a lot of material that you can use. I will send all this to you because it's really, the time is too short to go through all of it. But then I can have some of your questions, and I will go back. I included different where is my presenter here? I included different platforms that you could use.
Ma'am, your screen is not shared.
A